Welcome to the Rockabye Revenue podcast with me, Abby Watson. I'm a mum of 4 and a business strategist, and I train people to become hypnobirthing teachers. In the last decade, I've built a thriving baby business that grew beyond my wildest dreams. This podcast is for you if you run a business or dream of running a business in the birth and baby industry. You want to change lives whilst making more money. I'm talking about creating sustainable income whilst being present for the people that matter most. I believe for our baby businesses to have the impact we desire, we must be rewarded. On this podcast, expect me to share actionable strategies without the jargon. I've been where you are. I've built a business while raising 4 little ones, and now I'm here to help you turn your passion into profit while creating the life you've always dreamed of. So let's get started. Hello, lovely. Welcome back to another episode of Rockabye Revenue podcast. Now, I am here to talk about something that has happened to me recently that got me thinking about how other people might deal with situations like this. Now, when we are in business, we can sometimes come across situations that we're not sure how to deal with and feel really hard. And what I'm specifically going to talk about today is other business owners' shady tactics to get clients, to get customers, and how it can potentially impact our own businesses and how we can deal with that in a way that absolutely maintains our reputation and our authenticity as a business. So firstly, let me get straight to it and fill you in on what happened to me. Now, please note this wasn't a horrendous thing at all. I have definitely had worse. I've definitely had worse things to deal with as a business owner, and I'm going to tell you one day about some of these things and how it impacted me and how I dealt with them. But I'm going to start with this smaller incident, and please know that these incidents are few and far between, or they've certainly been for me. So don't listen to this as a new business owner thinking, oh my God, I am going to be up against this kind of thing. Few and far between, On the whole, other business owners have always been very cheering each other on, especially in this industry. Very much having at each other's backs, very much respectful of other people's businesses. So again, this is why it is few and far between. So let me get straight to it because I'm waffling. So the other week, in the middle of a launch, so a couple of times a year in my business, I train hypnobirthing teachers. I have events where I'm really bringing in new people into my world, really showing them what we're all about and, really offering them an incredible package of training and support so that they get off the fence and they come and do it because they've been wanting to do this for ages, So a couple of times a year, I have these events where I'm much more visible on social media. My business is really working hard to, really support those aspiring hypnobirthing teachers to see that this is their time, okay? And I call it a launch, okay? So I was mid-launch and I don't know how I managed to see this. I guess the algorithm is very clever in that it kind of shows us things that we might be interested in. So in a Facebook group that is just generally for antenatal educators, hypnobirthing teachers, doulas, that kind of thing, I saw that there was an anonymous post of someone saying, I'm considering training with Love Your Birth. Is there anyone here that has done that training and can give me some honest response to what it's like, what the support is like, etc., etc. And good on that person because, we can hear and see all the marketing from a company, but let's face it, we never truly know what we're getting until we've actually done the course, you know? So good on that person for asking that, you know? And you know what, I would have really loved for them to get some really honest responses, okay? Because they wanted that impartial response. So what I saw in the comments was this person that I know of, you know, I don't know her personally, but I know that she runs a business that is very similar to mine. So she also trains hypnobirthing teachers and antenatal educators. And I know of her business because actually I've had some people come and train with Love Your Birth that have already done this person's training. So I know it from that perspective, as well as, you know, seeing the marketing, etc. We all know who our competitors are, right? So I knew who this person was, recognised her name right away. And in the comments, okay, she had put, yes, I've done that training, and it depends what you want, but there was no ongoing support. And actually, this training, put the link of her training, is much better. And my gosh, when I saw that, I was like, the blatant cheek of it, firstly, to respond in a way that is not being clear that the link she was sharing was her own business. And secondly, to pretend that she had done my training and it wasn't good and that there was no ongoing support, which is absolutely the opposite of what I do. It's just like, oh my gosh, as if someone would publicly put that. So I was sat there thinking, oh, how do I deal with this that makes me not look really petty and argumentative and makes me publicly look decent, basically? Because let's face it, we've all seen businesses arguing with each other on social media. And that is something that I have never, ever wanted to be involved in. I really think that both parties in things like that look terrible, you know? It does not do your business any favours, except maybe in the short term get more eyes on your business because people are nosy, right? So I always feel that if we are responding to things like that, we've got to respond in a way that, yes, communicates what we want to say, but also makes us look still good to the other people watching. You know, we don't want to come across as, like we are defensive or trying to hide something, which is absolutely, of course, not the case. So my usual stance usually would be to read it and move on, hoping that someone would show up and say, actually, I've done that training and you're wrong. I can't believe you've done it and got that perspective from it, you know? But it really did feel like I had to clarify that this person had not done my training. And also, I felt I had a duty to make it clear that that person was saying her service was better and that she wasn't, can't get my words out, she wasn't being clear that it was her business, which is shady, isn't it? You know, and we see this all over the place, don't we? Someone says on a Facebook group, you know, anyone recommend a fantastic plumber that's really honest? And, you know, the plumber recommends themselves, you know? Actually, we don't want that. We want to know people's experiences. So I felt that I had a duty to show that this wasn't a student's honest response to courses in the industry. So I did choose to respond. Now, firstly, if you are listening to this because you are thinking, if this ever happened to me, what would I do? This is my advice. I didn't respond right away. Because in the moment, we can be like, what? The cheek of it, the nasty thing, we're feeling really peeved off about it. And our response can be tainted with that anger. So I definitely left it a few hours to sit with it, to really think about how I was going to respond in a way that, yes, corrected, but also maintained the integrity of my business. Okay. And that's what you want to be thinking about. You want to maintain the integrity of your own business. Okay. So I am not saying that I responded in the right way. I am not. And definitely when I've looked back on what I responded with, I've been like, oh my God, like grammar went out of the window there. So I obviously still had some like strong feelings about it to be able to kind of not respond in like a put together way. And I wish I had actually written down what I put so I could share it with you now. But in a nutshell, I put, and I tagged the person who'd written the comment in it. So I've tagged the woman who had basically slated my business and put, you have never done my training. Okay. And the link that you are sharing is your own business's link. And then, so that was just clearing that up, but in a non kind of like argumentative way, just clearing it up. And then I put, which was perfectly honest, I put, I really do hope someone who has actually taken my training comes in and shares their honest experience, because this person is obviously wanting to make an informed decision. Now, of course, me commenting on that post did mean that there wasn't going to be any honest responses, were there? Because now everyone knows I can see it too, But thankfully, because I had commented, it did gain some traction, and oh my gosh, there was some lovely responses on the back of that post, even from people, incredible women in the industry that had never done my training, saying I've not done Abby's training, so being really honest about that. Yet I know that her business advice and what she offers is, really unique and special in this industry, or words to those effect, basically. And, that filled my heart, it really did. And it was like that reminder that I needed, that most people are incredible in this industry and supportive and have each other's backs. So this shady comment, the post wasn't shady, but that shady comment did my business some good, because of course, if it hadn't have been for that person's shady comment, I'm not sure other people would have jumped on and said such wonderful words about my business, because we don't always feel like we need to, do we? Even if you read something online and you're like, oh, but her training's fab, we don't always do it. So what I'm trying to say is, if you ever stumble upon anything like this, where someone is being not nice, not fair, they're saying something about your business that is not true, maybe actually it'll do you some real good, Maybe actually if you respond to it well, it will absolutely enable your business to come off the strong one. And the thing that helped me not get cross in that situation, and maybe a few years ago I'd have been more upset, I really genuinely was not upset. I was a bit like, what? The cheek of it? But I wasn't upset, because it really made me feel like, oh gosh, like the woman who had done that shady thing, how sad that she has to use those tactics to get customers. And I say that not in a nasty way, not like, oh, how sad. I mean, like, how genuinely sad that she feels that she has to do those kind of like dishonest things to get people looking at her business. And I gave in my mind that person a lot of compassion. Sometimes being in business is hard. You know, sometimes we can go into scarcity mode and maybe act in a way that actually we wouldn't have normally acted. So I have got no hard feelings to that other business owner that responded in that way, because I know that actually sometimes we're just trying to do our best, and sometimes our best might not be the right way. So yeah. And if you ever find yourself in a situation like that, instead of jumping to like, oh my gosh, she's out to get me, she's slating my business, what is she saying in private if she's saying this in public? Really think, oh, she's a human, you know, she's a human, and we don't always do things the right way, you know, and that's okay. I've made mistakes in my business. She's made a mistake. She never actually responded to my comment. And, you know, maybe she didn't respond because she didn't want to get into an argument. There would have never been an argument. And, you know, I hope she's not feeling crappy about it, because no one deserves that. She deserves to have a successful business as much as I do. And let's hope she listens to this podcast to get loads of great business ideas. You know, if my competitors want to listen to this to get ideas, go for it, because actually there's more than enough to go around. There's more than enough clients to go around, and we can attract them in really great ways. So that was a little something from my last few weeks, and I really hope it helps you if you ever find yourself in a similar position. Please know, like I said at the start of this, things like that are few and far between, because most of us are really respectful of each other's businesses, and we know that we all have the same mission, you know? We're cheering each other on because we know we are all wanting to spread empowering messages and help each other, okay? So that's where I'll end that, you know, remembering that actually this is a real community. The birth and baby world is the most loveliest community. That's not saying everyone out there is for you, but we can find those pockets of people that are our people. Okay, and most of us have got each other's back. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. It's not a lesson. This episode. If you have, do come over to my Instagram at loveyourbirth_training and let me know what you thought. Have a great week, lovely one, and I shall see you next time. Bye. Thank you for listening to Rockabye Revenue. I hope this episode has left you with some fresh ideas and bundles of motivation. If you enjoyed this episode, do make sure you click subscribe so you never miss an installment. And if you found this episode useful, I'd love you forever if you leave a 5-star review, helping this podcast reach the ears of more of the helpers in this world. And remember, keep changing lives. See you next time.